Adaptation is a process through which organisms can adjust to their environments. For example, an internal parasite known as liver fluke has a very simple bodily structure, but the organism is highly adapted to its specific environment. Adaptation is not just a change in phenotypic traits. In such parasites, critical adaptations takes place in their life cycle too, which is quite complex. In practical terms, adaptation is an outcome of the changes in environmental conditions. Many aspects of an animal or plant can be correctly called adaptations, though there are always some features whose function remains in doubt. Thus, adaptation can be used in terms of the evolutionary processes and adaptive traits for the bodily part or function. During adaptation, an organism must be viable at all stages of its development and evolution. This places constraints on the evolution of development, behavior and structure of the organisms. So, the general principle of adaptation is the significance of an adaptation can only be understood in relation to the total biology of the species. Diversity in the species can be explained by two main processes, adaptation and speciation. Darwin's finches are the classical example of adaptation due to changes in environmental conditions. On the other hand, speciation or species splitting or cladogenesis is caused by geographical isolation. Cichlid fish in African lakes is the best example to show interplay between speciation and adaptation. Adaptations in organisms help them to survive in their environment. This may include certain traits like structural, behavioral or physiological. Structural adaptations are physical features of an organism like shape, body covering, armament and the internal organization. Behavioral adaptations are inherited behavior or the ability to learn. For example, searching for food, vocalization and mating. On the other hand, physiological adaptations enable the organism to perform special functions like making venom, secreting slime or phototropism. There are some general functions too, such as growth and development, temperature regulation, balance and other aspects of homeostasis which are covered in physiological adaptations. Various types of adaptation can be seen. For example, changes in habitat, co-adaptation, internal adaptation. Earlier, adaptation was seen as a fixed relationship between an organism and its habitat. It was not expected that as the climate changed, so did the habitat, and as the habitat changed, so did the biota. Habitats of an organism are subject to changes in their biota. The relative number of species in a given habitat are always changing. Change is the rule which depends on the speed and degree of the change. During habitat changes, three major things happen, that is, habitat tracking, genetic change and extinction. In fact, they may occur in a sequence too. Out of all these changes, only genetic change can cause adaptation. Habitat tracking. As a habitat changes, the resident populations move to another local area which suits that population. Oceanic organisms and flying insects have wide opportunity for movement. This is known as habitat tracking. Genetic change. Genetic change occurs in a population because of natural selection. Also, some mutations may create genetic variability, which leads to differentiated characters of springs. Genetic changes may result in differing visible structures or physiological activity in a way that suits the habitat. Leigh Van Wellen gave the concept that even in a stable environment, competing species had to constantly adapt to maintain their relative standing. This concept is known as Red Queen hypothesis. It is an evolutionary hypothesis which proposes that organisms must constantly adapt, evolve and proliferate to gain advantage and also to survive against ever-evolving opposing organisms in an ever-changing environment. In co-evolution, where the existence of one species is dependent on the life of another species, improved adaptations that occur in one species are often followed by the appearance and spread of corresponding features in the other species. This idea gives an overview that coexisting living things are not just affected by their physical environment but also by each other. These relationships are intrinsically dynamic and may continue on a trajectory for millions of years. For example, the relationship between flowering plants and insects which are dependent on pollination. There is another term called pollinator constancy, which is explained by the honey bees which selectively visit flowers from only one species. This can be observed by the color of pollen in their baskets. Henry Walter Bates worked on Amazonian butterflies, which led him to develop the concept of mimicry. This was known as Batesian mimicry. This kind of mimicry was observed in a palatable butterfly species which copied an unpalatable or noxious butterfly species in how it looked. Hoverfly, which is found in temperate gardens, is thought to have no sting but mimics the warning coloration of Hymenoptera like wasps and bees. Adaptations that consider the overall coordination of the system in the body are known as internal adaptation. In vertebrates, the example of internal adaptation would be the temperature regulation, improvements in brain function and an effective immune system. In plants, the example includes the development of the reproductive system in flowering plants. The acquisition of these major adaptations has served as a spark for adaptive radiation and been a huge success over long periods of time for a whole group of organisms. Despite the advantages of adaptation, there might be some compromises and conflicts also in this concept. For example, the conflict between the size of the human brain. A fetal brain at birth cannot be larger than 400 cm3, else it will not get through the mother's pelvis. On the other hand, the size of an adult human brain is about 1400 cm3, which means that the brain of a newborn child is very immature. The most vital things like locomotion and speech abilities are gained by the humans after waiting for the brain to grow and mature. That is the result of the birth compromise. Another example is the long neck of a giraffe. The neck of a giraffe can be up to 2 meters in length. This neck can be used for interspecies competition or for foraging on tall trees where shorter cannot reach. However, this long neck is very heavy and it adds to the body mass of a giraffe. So, the giraffe needs an abundance of nutrition to provide for this costly adaptation. Genes have pleiotropic effect, that means not all traits may be functional. Some traits are neutral or may be deleterious on the fitness of organism in the present environment. Random mutations are the cause of variation in the population. These mutations can have adaptive or non-adaptive consequences. That means it could benefit an organism's viability, can have no change or could be harmful to an organism. Adaptive mutation help in an organism's survival, while non-adaptive traits may or may not be essential. For example, if the earth suddenly lost its oxygen, the requirement of oxygen to live would suddenly become a non-adaptive trait. Also, a trait may have been adaptive at some point in evolutionary history, but because of a change in habitat, the same adaptation has become maladaptation. These type of adaptations are known as vestigials. Vestigial organs are the remnants of fully functional structures in their ancestors. As a change in the habitat and lifestyle, the organs become either non-functional or reduced in functionality. Loss of function leads to loss of positive selection and further accumulation of deleterious mutations. Some examples to this are loss of pigment and functional eyes in cave fauna, wisdom tooth in humans, and loss of structures in endoparasites. If a population is inefficient in changing its habitat or preserving its viability, then the population tends to become extinct, at least from that locality. That species may or may not survive in other locales. Extinction of species takes place when the death rate of the species exceeds the birth rate for a long period of time. Van Wellen observed that species tend to have a characteristic and fairly regular rate of extinction. Some species become extinct due to extinction of another species. This phenomenon is known as co-extinction. For example, parasitic insects become extinct because of the loss of their hosts. Extinction of some flowering plants can occur due to loss of its pollinators. Species co-extinction is a manifestation of the interconnectedness of organisms in a complex ecosystem. The relative capability of organisms to maintain their viability in ever-changing habitat is known as flexibility. On the other hand, acclimatization is the automatic physiological modification in an organism towards a different environment. Adaptation is a gradual process which occurs over many generations. It is particularly caused by natural selection with changes in genetic makeup of a population. Based on habitats, organisms develop adaptations. Habitat-based adaptations can be categorized into three fundamental types like aquatic, terrestrial and volant, flying. Aquatic adaptation can take place in plants and animals which live in fresh water, brackish water or sea water. Freshwater organisms develop some features that prevent the entry of excess water or that help in draining excess water regularly. On the other hand, marine organisms face scarcity of water due to hypertonic conditions. These conditions develop because of higher concentration than that of the body fluid. So, they have mechanisms to retain water and excrete excess salt that enters in during water intake. Some aquatic animals like fishes do not show a single terrestrial feature, whereas aquatic animals like dolphins and whales possesses terrestrial respiration through lungs, and some like the turtles visit land for laying eggs. Animals that dwell partially in water demonstrate amphibious adaptations with features both for land and water, as in frogs, and salamanders or mostly terrestrial features and only some basic aquatic adaptations like in duck. Some characteristic aquatic adaptations are body contour is spindle shaped and streamlined, neck is short, external ears are reduced and tail is compressed. Usually the body is excessively large, which helps in giving greater buoyancy in the salt water. Organs of locomotion and balancing vary greatly among aquatic animals. Fishes use paired and unpaired fins. Whales and turtles have their limbs modified into paddles, while in some organisms like ducks, hands and feet are webbed. Skin is rich in mucous glands to make it slippery. Fishes are equipped with dermal scales as well. Aquatic animals are capable of utilizing oxygen dissolved in the water for respiration through general body surface as in earthworms, internal gills like in salmons or external gills like in sharks. Fishes have a lateral line system extending the whole length of the body. It is used to detect movement and vibrations in the surrounding water. They also have neuromast organs which acts as rheoreceptors or pressure receptors. Terrestrial adaptations occur in the animals and plants which lives in land habitats. Depending upon the type of habitat, these can be divided into fossorial adaptations, cursorial adaptations, arboreal adaptations and desert adaptations. Fossorial adaptation. Fossorial adaptation occurs in animals which live a subterranean mode of life. They have digging organs with which they dig for food, protection and for shelter. The features they display are the body contour is cylindrical, spindle shaped or fusiform to reduce resistance in subterranean passages. The head is small and tapers anteriorly to form a burrowing snout. Neck and ears are reduced to avoid obstruction in quick movement through the holes. The eyes remain small and non-functional. Limbs are short and strong. Examples are earthworms and moles. Cursorial adaptation. In cursorial adaptation, the organism lives in a grassland habitat and is evolved to run for protection from enemies. The features they display are the neck is reduced and body is streamlined to reduce air resistance while running. The bones of palms and soles become compact. The bones of forearm, the ulna, and the bone of the shank, the fibula, are reduced. Distal segments of both limbs are elongated to increase the length of the stride. Examples are horses and zebras. Arboreal adaptation. Arboreal adaptation or scansorial adaptation occurs in animals that live on trees or climb on the rocks and walls. The features they display are the chest, girdles, ribs and limbs are strong and stout. Feet and hands become prehensile with opposable digits. Often, the tail becomes prehensile. For example, monkey and chameleon. Desert adaptation. Extreme terrestrial habitats exhibit desert adaptation in animals and plants. The adaptation in this environment is to collect moisture, conserve moisture and defend against abiotic and biotic factors. The features they display are the animals procure enough water through various mechanisms. The sand lizard and horned toad have hygroscopic skin to absorb moisture. The kangaroo rat fulfills its water needs from synthesis while others satisfy their water needs through the food they consume. The animals prevent water loss from their bodies by reducing surface area, making skin impermeable through its thickening and hardening, as well as through the presence of scales and spines. The animals store water in their bodies and use it economically. Because of sand and dust in the air, the ears, eyes and nostrils are protected by valves, scales, fringes, eyelids or by being reduced in size. Possession of venom is for self-defense and almost all desert snakes and spiders are poisonous. Protection from predators is achieved by the use of protective mechanisms like slippery surfaces, horns, spines, unpleasant smells, poison, hard shells, autotomy of tail or by the use of coloration together with behavioral postures. Coloration are used for different purposes. Cryptic coloration or camouflage is for making the animals invisible from the environment by assimilating with the background. Animals living in snowy conditions may be white, forest animals may be striped or spotted and desert animals may be sandy colored. Resemblance coloration together with morphological features and behavioral postures make the animals resemble exactly the particular uninteresting object of the environment, thus deriving protection. Warning coloration is to avoid encountering dangerous animals by mistake or encountering unpalatable organism by predators. The animals bear this coloration to advertise their being dangerous or unpalatable. Mimicry is the imitation of one organism by another for the purpose of concealment and protection. The species that imitates is called a mimic and the other which is copied a model. Depending on the purposes of mimicry, it can be protective or aggressive. Protective mimicry is simulation by a harmless species in the form, appearance, color and behavior of another species that is unpalatable or dangerous. For example, some harmless flies with a pair of wings may mimic four-winged bees or wasps that are well-known dangerous insects, thus deriving protection. This is also called Batesian mimicry. If two species have the same warning coloration and mutually advertise that they are dangerous so as to make predators learn to avoid both of them, then it is called as Mullerian mimicry. Aggressive mimicry is used by predators. A predator mimics the organism favored by its prey so as to trap it. For example, spider may resemble the flower of an orchid. Volant adaptation occurs in animals that fly. They have the capability to sustain and propel their bodies in the air. This modification can be for passive gliding or for active true flight. Passive gliding involves no propulsion other than the initial force of jumping and gravitational force. It is characterized by jumping from a high point and being held by some sustaining organs to glide to the lower levels. The skin on the either side of the body becomes expanded and stretched between fore limbs and hind limbs to form patagium. Patagia are sustaining organs in the animals including the flying squirrel and flying lemur. On the other hand, active true flight involves aerial flight with both sustaining and propulsion. It is found in insects, birds and bats, though the flight organs in all the groups are wings. Their structures vary greatly. Insect wings are made up of cuticles strengthened by thickening called veins. Bird wings are modified forelimbs but with reduced digits. Sternum or breastbone is well developed for the attachment of flight muscles. The body is made light especially in birds due to the presence of pneumatic bones, reduction of internal organs, presence of air sacs, and presence of light feathers covering the body. Animals can derive a lot of benefit from spending time with other members of the same species. They can help each other find food, defend against predators, and care for young. Countless species engage in group living either in herds, colonies, harems, complex societies, or loose associations. But perhaps the simplest and most common form of group living in the natural world is that of nuclear families, which may consist of a male female couple with their young, a single male and various females and young, a group of females and their young, or whatever combination works best. But it is important to know here that every change in lifestyle or morphology is a step towards its survival and viability.